Hello and welcome to video number 12 of the Nintember 2016 series. I am Wes, the Average Trainer, and today we are talking about another game that I rented about 1,000,000 times as a kid, Harvest Moon 64. Now, the Harvest Moon series had originally started on the Super Nintendo, as far as I remember, but I had not played it up until this point. And I saw this game sitting on the shelf at, I can't remember what was the name of the store. I think it was E.T. Entertainment Tonight. No, that might have been a TV show. I don't remember. So it was at the video rental place, and I saw it. It was like Harvest Moon 64. Well, that sounds kind of interesting. It kind of looks Zelda-y, and you have this kid, and he's got a dog on it, and I think on the back I even saw that there was some horse racing, and I thought, hey, this looks like it might be a fun little game to rent for a while. Why don't I give it a try? And so I rented it. I took it home, and I got hooked. I got hooked real bad. I remember probably within that week, I think I rented it on like a weekday. So I took it home, played it for a little bit, got hooked onto it, and waited until Saturday. I'm pretty sure I was sick on Saturday following the rental date, and I think I spent probably the better part of 6 to 8 hours playing this game, which at that time was a little bit different for me. I didn't really spend a whole lot of huge chunks of hours playing video games when I was growing up. It was more like half hour here, half hour there, build up to it, unless I was homesick during elementary school, in which case I would, quote unquote, have sickness of sorts and have to come home, and then I would sit in front of the Sega Genesis and play that for many hours, but shh, don't tell anybody that. But anyway, yeah, I think I played it for like 6 to 8 hours, only stopping to eat and have to use the restroom, and I would just go right back to the 64. Which is, my parents were probably out of town at that point, and my brothers, they didn't really, care if I played video games all day, so why not? Why wouldn't I play video games all day? The joys of being 12 again. But anyway, this game definitely hit upon that blossoming anime nerd portion of my being that was coming out at that time, because I grew up watching anime, but it was more like, this is just a TV show. I didn't really know that it was anime up until about this time when my friends were starting to show me like, oh, here's some Dragon Ball Z tapes, and oh man, this is from Japan, and I started learning about all these things that happen when they bring over a show from Japan, and the Japanese version of Digimon is super cool and all that. So suffice to say, this is very anime-esque. This game is very much an anime-type game. So much so to the point where I married Potpourri because I was like, oh, pink hair. Boom, done. That's it. Oh, and she likes cake. Awesome. That was basically my reason for marrying Potpourri. So that was interesting, to say the least. And I'm kind of glad I got past that little anime phase that I was going through at that time. But it was with me at that time. It was part of my development as a child and my appreciation for literature and the animation in general, the genres within animation, Japanese animation in particular. But yeah, I think I got this at the right time. I don't know if I would have been interested in it, just a few years earlier or just a few years later. It came at the exact right time, and that's why I rented it 1,000,000 times. And I'm just so happy to this day that at that video store, people never rented Nintendo 64 games, because I was able to get basically whatever I wanted and keep my save file on it for weeks and weeks and weeks, sometimes months, which was really cool. So anyway, and the last thing I want to mention about this game is that it's one of those first experiences with actually feeling emotion for a game. I mean, at that time, I'm just a little boy, I'm just doing my thing, trying to pretend I'm a big bad middle schooler. Maybe I was elementary school at this time. End of elementary school, starting middle school. That's the time when you're like, oh man, I'm the coolest kid ever, I'm super awesome and all that. But getting to the end of the 3 years, I believe it was 3 years that you had to turn the farm around. Getting to the end of the game and then seeing that ending, I did not actually expect an ending per se. I didn't expect anything to really be resolved. Up until then, the game was just, have fun. You're farming. You're getting married. You're planting crops and searching for fruit and mushrooms and stuff on the mountaintop. Digging in the mine, it just didn't seem like a game that really had an ending per se. And getting to the ending, it's just very impacting. It's like, whoa, this game actually had like an end goal, and they let me stay in the town, and they just said, hey, we like you. You stay here, man. And it's just like, huh. And obviously you could continue playing the game after that, but at that point I was like, well, I think that was the ending, and I feel pretty satisfied by that. So yeah, it was interesting, to say the least. So yeah, that's Harvest Moon 64, and ever since then I've played a couple more Harvest Moon games. The Friends Mineral Town for the Game Boy Advance, the first 3 Rune Factory games I played. I haven't played number 4 yet. I need to get to that. And yeah, the Game Boy Color, Harvest Moon 3 for the Game Boy Color was definitely one of those good games at the time. I got it shortly after this one, so it wasn't as full featured, but it was fun too. So yeah, that's Harvest Moon 64. So yeah, I really enjoy it. I think the series is a good series. I think it's fallen onto some hard times lately, and it's kind of gotten into a rut. But here's hoping that Rune Factory 4 was pretty good, and I can go back and play that. So anyway, yeah, thank you for watching, and until next time, stay average. Goodbye.